All right, mic check, I'm good. So I'm Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association Podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and we have a very special edition going today, a very special interview with my good friend and the first person I ever interviewed on this podcast, Kevin Waugh. How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's crazy. Coming back around, right?
Full circle, and this time we are coming to you from head office in Milton. We were here. Well, we'll talk about why we were out here,
Yep.
and we're in the boardroom here at the beautiful location in Milton, which is a beautiful building. If you guys haven't been out here, we're all set up. We're rocking and rolling. We're doing the whole thing with the mics and the cameras and the.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
All right. So, Kevin, it's been over a year. Almost a couple of years since that first interview.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
September of 2020 is when we did that first episode.
And that was an experiment. You know, like I got asked if this was something I would take on. I didn't really know how. I didn't really have the setup I have today. It was, you know, just it was a different experience. But it started something that has taken off.
Yeah, there's been tons of positive feedback. And yeah, I mean, COVID had just started when we were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We did it over the iPad. I was in my garage and there was a bit of a lag. So it's kind of cool to be sitting here in front of you and actually having a conversation.
Yeah. No, in those 2 years, did you think this was going to work? Like, you know, when I came to you being like, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? I'm just starting. I don't know what the going on.
I didn't know anything either, right? So it's just like, yeah, sure, I'd love to be part of that and see where it goes. And it's amazing how much it's growing. Like, it's nuts.
And then in terms of, you know, feedback that you've gotten, has there been a lot of feedback to you?
Yeah, to me personally, I've talked to a few people about their episodes too, but I don't know if it's because I was the first one, but as soon as it happened, tons of DMs saying like how cool it was and like how nice it is that CWB is doing this stuff and how can I be on an episode. So yeah, it's been awesome, and the stuff I talked about really related to other people and what they were doing, not just on social media, but in their lives.
Yeah. You know, and we got a lot of response from that, obviously, like it took off, you know, and now we're coming up on the 100th episode, right? Like it's coming up within a month, we're going to be hitting 100, and we have a big special show. We already started a rollout online for prizes and stuff and making a big deal out of it because it's, you know, it's kind of an accomplishment, and I think we're up over 20,000 K on downloads and
Wild.
Right. So it's going well. I don't know if I thought it was going to do as well as it's doing, to tell you the truth, because it was like, you know, I don't know much about podcasts. I've listened to a few. I'm just a big blabbermouth. Let's see how this goes.
I've done some radio, so this is gonna go.
yeah, this is gonna be whatever. And then, you know, you start picking at equipment and whatever. But we just did an ask online, being like, "What's your favorite episode?" And we got so many people saying Kevin. And you're the first.
Yeah.
So did I do like terrible job for the other 96 or what? I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that because all the guests have been awesome. Hey, like, but I mean, I was surprised at how many people picked you as their favorite.
It's kind of like I touched on. I don't know if it's what I talked about or who I am as a person, but maybe it had all to do with it was the first one.
Yeah.
And like I pumped it up as like, this is cool. Like, go have a listen. Yeah. So I don't know. It's awesome though. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm humbled by it. I have a lot of friends online in the welding community, and like that's what it's about. So it's very cool.
So let's talk about what you've been doing for 2 years now. So 2 years ago, working at JR's, you know, you had your social media thing going. You were basically just doing it all on your own, right? You had your own social media persona, and then you had your career. You got your kids, you got your wife. Everything's kind of, you know, on track for what you were doing. So what has happened in 2 years? What have you been up to? What's changed? What's grown?
Well, COVID quieted down. And I don't know, I think I still don't have that work-life balance figured out, but it's becoming more streamlined. Like you kind of separated it very well. I have the social media, I have my work, I have my family. now I'm trying to bring it all together. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. So just kind of be myself. I don't have an online personality. I'm just me. So I'm trying to be me in all aspects so that everything kind of streamlines. This is who I am. I support you. You support me. So on that aspect, that's what I'm trying to do. As you mentioned, working at JR's, and that's the same place I've worked now for 16 years.
Wow.
I recently took the foreman job. So
Right
now
on.
I oversee 15 to 20 guys, depending on how busy we are. And that's been a learning experience for sure. Otherwise, I don't say no to an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge thing. So lots of stuff's been coming my way lately, and I think that's having to do with the work that I've done, the work that we've done, and it's exciting. It's good.
Now, let's talk a little bit about this foreman job.
Uh-oh.
It's a step. I remember my first foreman job, and I wouldn't say it was an overwhelming success. I took a night shift detail because that's the way I got presented my opportunity. They're like, okay, I had asked if I could move up into a foreman job, but we had foremans. And then finally it's like, hey, we're starting up a night crew. Do you want to be a foreman for that? And I was like, yeah, like if this is how I get my foot in the door, this is how I get it. And I like working nights, by the way. Like, so it was like not a big stretch for me. I was like, cool. Yeah. I like night shift. And I got my first crew. And it was in a company that I had only been there for a few months. So I didn't even have like the whole gig down in terms of what the responsibilities were. But there was people there that knew what was going on. They know their job, right?
Yeah.
But it was a whole new set of responsibilities and things that you kind of bitch about when you're an employee, being like, why don't they do this? Or why don't they do that? Or, wow, this seems so simple. And then when you're there, you're like, I'm going to fix these things and I'm going to make these things better.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy. At least it wasn't for me.
No, it's really not that easy. And it's managing people's skill levels. It's managing people's personalities, managing how people relate to each other. There's really no training. You could go take a course on how to be a foreman. Probably wouldn't help you when you get dropped in that shop. So yeah, my work was like, we're in a transition period. We're growing. We purchased another building, but we're in a position where people are moving up, people are moving out. So I stepped in. I was just like you, like, oh yeah, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do this. It takes time. And you
slow your roll.
Exactly. You got to stay positive and work your way through it.
And pick your battles too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Doesn't get done overnight, and some things are more important than others. And, yeah. And I don't know, you kind of mentioned, trying to make things better. And I use a Michael Jackson quote, like, you want to make this place better? Look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's got to start small. If you don't like something, look at yourself. How are you dealing with that situation? If you're not willing to put in the work yourself, I can't do it for you. So we're going to work together.
Yeah. Now, in terms of, what you thought, like, I'm going to get into this role, I want to grow as a professional, become a foreman, maybe climb that ladder. You still want to? Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of people move into foreman roles and then back out, being like, actually, it's not really my cup of tea. And that's fair, right?
Yeah. I haven't really given myself a time limit. I said, I'll see how this goes for a year. A year is not enough to really get in there and make changes and settle in. So I like what I'm doing. I get to train people. I get to help people with their jobs. I don't weld as much as I'd like to, but I still have my welder at home. Right now I'm in. I jump in with both feet. So let's see where this goes. Let's see where it goes. Ride it out.
What about in terms of your time now for your personal welding, for your social media? How has being a foreman affected those other roles in your life?
It definitely has. Like, we're very busy at work, so I've been working 9-hour days, and I take on side projects. Like, I'm building a pool out of a shipping container, and I go in, I do that in the evenings. The fact that I don't have a welder in my hands all day, every day, definitely social media slowed down a little bit. Personal projects also slowed down, but I'm making sacrifices that are building to something that's going to build into my future. But I think the Kevin R306 is definitely kind of switching gears a little bit, and that's okay. It's I got to be myself. I got to speak my truth. So it is what it is. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. You said earlier, it's like you got your work, you got your family, you got your social media, and trying to figure out how they work together just by being authentic. And I think that's something that a lot of people go through just as they mature. You have a vision of yourself, right? That sometimes you're like, okay, this is how I see myself. This is who I am. But something's not jiving. Like maybe something's not jiving. And instead of trying to force your environment into shape, it's easier to sometimes just change yourself a little bit and just change your expectation and be like, well, if this is such a struggle, maybe I'm not meant to be doing that. Like,
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Yeah, their sacrifices have to be made, and if you don't feel comfortable with that, you're probably making a bad choice.
Yeah.
You
Doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah. So it's, again, you don't find that out overnight. You got to work through it. I'm still working through it. You know, there's
I'm still working. I'm an old man. I still wake up being like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, you know, like there's parts of my job that I love, and there's parts of my job that I don't like. But the good outweighs the bad. The good carries you through the other stuff that you may not like, and you can work on that stuff. So not being hard on yourself and
allow yourself to be wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah. Admit that you're wrong. That's a big one. Lots of people, they'll fight you to the death because of one little thing. No, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
Or
it goes a long way.
Or I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe I still think I'm right, but I don't want to fight about it.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. Like,
Yeah. What's the point, right?
yeah. Now, your social media life in the last 2 years, you said, like it's taken a bit of a hit time-wise, but obviously you've taken on some different projects. There's different things that you're doing in your social media world. So what are some of these shifts you're talking about? Like, what are you looking for the Kevin R306? What's changed in terms of the things you're doing?
Well, basically, I would almost post every day, right? Whatever I was working on. It's helped me grow as a person and also grow my social media. Now I'm taking on more projects that have to do with me and the CWB also. And I'm really into that. I want to promote that because it's helping people, and that's why I got onto social media. I needed help. I got help. It's a community. CWB is trying to do the same thing. They're helping me out. I'm helping them out. So it's great. But it's not a post every day. Maybe I'll post once a week. I still, if we're shorthanded in the shop, I still get in there. Like, oh God, I better go get my phone.
It's the only time I'm welding this week.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm sure something tomorrow you guys are gonna love. Yeah.
Now, the stuff that you're doing with CWB, like, I mean, people probably know, right? Because they follow and we push it. We push it on our end. But for the people that maybe this is their first episode and they've just started listening today and they're like, hey, who's this guy? And, we're talking about you 2 years later.
Yeah.
What are some of the projects that you have taken on in these last couple of years that are tied to your social media, but also in terms of these bigger projects you're talking about?
The opportunity to film instructional welding videos. I love doing it. And it's cool to have the CWB fly me out and be in this building and actually go into the shop and work on some tools and train, help people. That's probably the biggest one that I've been able to do. I've also gotten more involved with my local chapter, Regina, represent. And I mean, that's cool too, because COVID really hit us pretty hard, as you know. So now it's building back better and getting back into schools, and that also ties into my social media. Like, look at what we're doing here. We're going to help you out in all these aspects, so they can go, oh, this is Kevin. Cool, I know him. He's from Regina. What are we doing? What's he doing? What's the CWB? So it all kind of ties together.
Yeah, it does, and I guess that's the point. That's the point. It's already built.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there, right? It's there. It's just a matter of, do you go out and get it? Do you go out and access it? Because it's built. And to be honest, I've been a part of the CWB as a welder for, well, decades, and I didn't go out and get it for a long time. I was just like, CWB's over there, I'm over here. They qualify me for welding and work. Got it. See you later, right?
Yeah, that's how I thought about it. Actually, I think we talked about it on the first episode. It's like CWB was just, they're going to certify me to weld. That's all it was.
Qualified.
So, see, this is all news to me. And yeah, to find the association. I used to go to the dinners, but was never part of the association. When I became a member, it was cool. Like you form a community, a brotherhood, sisterhood, and like there's so many opportunities to be had by being a member. And we're not. We didn't practice this. I'm not plugging this.
No, we didn't actually. We had a late night.
We had a few drinks. Yeah. So now it's. I notice it. I see it building up to something, and I'm here for it. We're growing. Yeah.
And that's something that I felt is important. Is okay. Yeah, the machine's built, but it doesn't mean that it's done. There's always improvements. There's always things you can do better. And well, in COVID, actually, I think put a spur in our butts to be like, okay, well, if things are trending down and we're going into a pandemic, then you can only trend down so far before it's dead.
Yeah.
So we got to turn this ship around and do stuff. Like, let's get out there. Let's do. And to be honest, there's certain chapters that are just killing it. They're doing such a good job, and I lean on them. Like, I mean, it's not the Max show. It's an association show. It's about the network and the chapters and the volunteers. Like, you look at Conestoga, Regina, Calgary, Edmonton. Yeah. Like, you got some strong chapters that are just.
And actually, like with this whole social media and doing online events, which we put on some amazing online events, the chapters can commingle and go to each other's events and win each other's prizes.
That sucks.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, put me to shame. Yeah, so it's really cool. And you're right. Like and this is when I joined, really, when I became an executive, is things were trending down. Members were leaving. They weren't coming to meetings. There weren't meetings.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool to see it now trending back up and people getting more interested.
Well, there's an expectation to networking that's interesting that people forget about. Like, it's like, I'm tired of online. It's getting boring. But, so not to pick on Sax, sorry, but she's come to our online events. Jackie come to all of them. Jackie Morris, also awesome person. And they win our prizes. We get cheeky on Instagram. We have these laughs. But sooner or later, you're going to be somewhere and you're going to run into them. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And you're going to know them, even though you've never been around them personally. Yeah. You're going to have a connection there, and you guys are going to be BFFs right away. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's cool. It's really cool that you can get to know these people like online, and actually, it's like that brotherhood, sisterhood I was talking about. It's like you just run into them. And you're like, best friends. Like it's almost like that. Like especially the people that get to know each other, like in the DMs and stuff. It's really cool.
Well, I'll never forget one of the first times I ever flew out to Milton, out here for work, and I was like, I know nothing about this area. I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm bored. I'm in my hotel room, and Jackie Morris was like, I'm coming to pick you up. You're coming for supper at my in-laws, and it was like, this is awesome. I got to spend the day with her family and her kids, and it was like, man, I'm down for that. You want to have a barbecue with family and you're inviting me? Bless. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
making me part of your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
So let's actually I don't got Daniela here, so it kind of throws me off not having.
We miss you.
She literally does so much of this work. So I'm trying to run around do it, but I think we're at about the 30-minute mark, 20-some-minute mark. So let's take the break for the commercials here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what's going on, all the new stuff, and some of the projects and some of the stuff we're doing, like even just this weekend. All right.
Yeah. Perfect.
So stay tuned here on the CWB Association podcast. I'm Max, and we got Kevin here, and we'll be right back after these commercials.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
Hello and welcome back to the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron. I'm here with Kevin Waugh, and we're talking about these last 2 years, and a lot's happened. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have trended up. We just released our impact report here at the CWB Association to show the industry. Everyone's going to get it probably this week. The week that we're recording this here in October, whenever this gets out into the ether. But you'll be able to go to our website and find it. But we started actually tracking for real numbers, like what's the contributions we're making to the industry and to people, and we're proud. We're proud. Or even there was one stat there. It was like during COVID, during the last COVID year, we still gained over 6,000 new members.
That's amazing.
During COVID, and we had almost 1,000 people come to online events.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome,
and it's like everyone's like, "Oh, COVID sucks," but hey, we still found a way to rub out a couple cool diamonds out of this pile of coal.
Yeah. Like the people that say they complain, it sucks and stuff. What are you doing about it? Are you getting out there? It's all about effort, right?
Yeah. And attitude and perception and how you want to look at stuff. And I mean, we were talking about it last night at depth. Where. How you deal with adversity and how you deal with things that get thrown at you, because you could get mad, you can get upset, but that sure is a waste of energy.
Yeah, adversity builds diversity, right?
Oh,
is that the saying?
Look at that!
I think I got that from you.
I'm not going to say anything about that. But.
Yeah.
So let's start with just this week. And this isn't the first time we've done this, but, you talked about these videos that we're building with the association and yourself. And, we've done lots with Alicia. We do the how it works. We do the ones with Adam. And, now we did ones with you. And now you're here for the second round of that filming. So
yes,
let's talk a little bit about what that was and how. Tell me about your experience this week.
Yeah, honestly, the flight in was terrible. Leave at
Pearson, get your S together.
Leave Regina at 9 o'clock and show up to Milton at 7 o'clock, and then it's a work day. I did get a nap in there.
Yeah.
But filming is more than people think. It's really a process. Just to be honest, I was sore after the first day. I never worked that hard in a while. But it's really cool. Yeah, it's a process, and it takes a whole team to do it. It was cool that the Ironworkers 736 had us at their shop. Their shop's amazing. We had all the tools available to us, and it was awesome. I was able to do horizontal SMAW weld, which I love doing. I test for it every 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be really positive for students, for anyone even getting into welding. Test day is stressful for everybody. Now there'll be a way to literally step by step go through this test and build your confidence and learn my tricks.
Yeah.
I haven't failed in a while, so I've got a few. I have a few key pointers.
Yeah. So actually, Kevin's never gotten his horizontal plate. No.
I'm doing this for the first time. Check it out. Yeah. No, it was cool. It was just like test day, but a little modified. Mm-hmm. Cameras watching you is a whole different beast.
And all the lights and lots of cameramen and a director and a videographer.
Yeah, an educational specialist,
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about that. So, the first round of videos was a little bit more off the, shoot from the hip.
Yeah,
right?
we definitely, we were off the cuff. We're going to use all these sayings here. But yeah, we walked in there, storyboarded while we were working. Something didn't work. We had to figure it out on the spot. And I'm super happy with how the videos turned out. Mm. Again, I think I sound stupid. I look stupid, but it was really good. And I got tons of feedback from those videos. So the community likes it. Mm. I like it. I want to keep doing it.
And what what did we do different with this round? You know, bringing in Dayton and the educational slant and even foundation stuff. Like how did you feel adding these extra layers to the video? Like, it does make it a little harder, a little bit more complicated.
I was just going to say that it is a little harder. They're a little bit more of a process to going through it. But adding that education, because I'm a decent welder, but I didn't go to school to teach welding. I don't know that aspect. The metallurgy, the science behind it, learned it in school 20 years ago. And it was nice to have him there to, you know, like, this is the reason why we need to speak about this. And then I'd be like, that's really cool. I have a trick for that to help these guys out. And, you know, like, we have a wonderful director, wonderful videographer that get all the cool angles and make suggestions.
And funny.
Yeah.
Keeps it light, you know. Steve, good job.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And Ken from the Ironworkers, just a gem of a guy. Like,
what a beauty.
Whatever we needed, he was on it. He's in the lunchroom cracking jokes. Yeah. So this second round was, I feel, more professional, more together. And the videos that we're going to put out are going to be really tight and very helpful, I think.
Awesome. You know, as we work these videos and we release them and we track them, and you know, we're trying to approach everything from a fairly calculated angle. You know, I'm a bit of a mad scientist, and I got these ideas way down the road that everything's hopefully you know, working towards, you know, Max's crazy game plan. We talked about another crazy idea I had yesterday, not telling anyone, but it's going to be awesome. You know, like,
yeah, let's see what happens with that. Just like riffing back and forth. This would be cool.
Yeah, but you know, what do you feel about the future of these videos? Like, are you already thinking like, next round, I want to do this and this and this, or I hope I'm involved for blah 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 blah. You know?
I mean, all I can say is I hope I'm involved. I really enjoy doing them. You know, I've thought about teaching. I'm not quite ready there yet, but this is my way of getting myself out there, getting the knowledge out there. But I'm still foreman at a nice company. Yeah. So it's cool. I'm all for it. Have me back. Yeah, let's do another test plate. Yeah, not nervous enough on test day. Let's put some cameras up.
Well, and you know, like there's a lot of welders in the room, which, you know, sometimes I feel like, so like, I mean, I watch videos too. I'm on YouTube watching other people's weld videos all the time. And I get ideas from them. Like, there's obviously people you follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube that you love what they do, and you're like, very cool. And there's great companies out there, weld.com, you know, like there's
I got something to say about weld.com.
Yeah, but too, you know, these places, they do great work. And one of the things that I'm trying to do a little bit different, and we're getting there, like, I mean, things are evolving when I set these things up, is trying to have a lot of welders in the room, not just one person with a camera recording themselves, having a few minds bouncing it off. And you're the one that kind of takes the brunt of it, because you got 3 people talking at you being like, no, yes, no.
Yeah. But it's good that it's not just a talking head video. You have a team, and having people with different backgrounds contribute to the video, to the content. It's a higher quality product, if I can call it a product, because you know, you've got these guys in the garage showing you something. Yes, it's knowledge. Yes, it's truth. Yes, it works. But where's the bit of the science? Where's the bit of the background, which I think CWB does a good job with.
Well, and we wanted to get deeper. Like, I mean, that's we kept wanting to be like, hey, Matt, Steve, can we get real nerdy on this? And they were like, nah, that might be a bit much. Or for the next video, maybe we'll get a little nerdy. Like, we did a spark test video, and even between me and Dayton, we're like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this?
Oh, we showed up, and thank you, Daniela, for this, but like Tupperware's full of stuff to grind to show different sparks. And then we're getting into the science. Like, guys, like, this is a 2-minute video. Like, it'll take you 10 minutes to grind all these things. But that's, you know, like, I think the spark test video is good too. It's a good thing for people to know, you know, how am I going to tackle this repair? Well, what are you working with? Grind it. See what comes off of that. What does the spark look like? Give you a hint as to what the composition of that metal is. And then, check out the video. When it comes out, it'll be good for everybody.
Yeah, and there's a lot of spark tests out there that are great.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I always felt like spark test videos were like when I learned about it in school in a textbook, because I'm old and there was books once upon a time, and in this book was just like a picture of like 6 different sparks, and underneath was like, this is mild steel, this is hot tool steel, this is stainless, and then you move on.
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, well, how is this actually useful to me? Like if I'm sitting in my shop and I'm not talking like my workshop, like my house shop, and someone drops off something to fix, Aunt Gladys's lamp, and I got 5 types of consumables that I only have. It's not like I don't have Ackland's Granger in my garage.
Yeah.
I got my 7018s, I got my 6010s, and I got a few TIG rods, stainless and aluminum, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. Which one am I going to use? None of them are probably a perfect match.
No.
But I got to find the one that's closest.
Yeah.
And the spark test is probably the easiest way to just
Absolutely.
force your way through that.
Yeah. And a quick trick that I've learned that I use, grind your filler. Grind your filler. What spark comes off of that? Is it like what I'm working with? If it is, likelihood it's going to work. Yeah. So it's cool.
All the codes guys out there are like,
oh
no,
my God,
no,
don't do that.
I need an MTR.
Yeah. It'll be good. I think it's a good video.
And then, the ironworkers, let's talk a little bit about them and how gracious they've been. And this again leads me back to this network thing, this community thing.
Yeah.
We were stuck. We had booked everything and we didn't have a place.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone's coming. Yeah.
We don't know where.
Yeah.
And, I reach out to Chris Rebello, shout out 721 Toronto.
Yeah. Rebel Iron.
Yeah. And, he was like, unfortunately, we're filming already. How does that happen? But whatever. Cool. Our shop isn't available, but hey, call the boys in Hamilton. It's only 45 minutes in the other direction. It's like, hey, reach out. Literally instantly, boom, there it is. It's like, come on down, shops. They cleaned up the whole shop for us, gave us a space, a classroom for lunch and to hang out. And Ken just gave us everything we needed.
Yeah, they knocked it out the park. The shop's amazing, like I mentioned, all the tools available to us, and that helps us make a good video.
Yeah, and lots of space. And
and
it was fun. And they have nice equipment in there.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. And I love the booths, pass-through booths, lots of space. Yeah, and they're set up to train. They'll hang a building in the backyard. Like, ironworking's cool. It's not these guys climb beams and bolt up. Like, no, there's more to it.
Yeah.
Like, those boys are cool.
Well, I know we were talking about that because I permitted as an ironworker. Lots of my friends are ironworkers, so I got a soft spot for them, and I do fall into the pitfalls. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. In the welding world, there's like you're in this group. You kind of throw shade at the other groups, and I think it's wholeheartedly fun. I don't think anyone ever really gets upset.
Yeah,
like pipe welders can only weld in circles. Ha ha. Like oh, this looks like it'll take 10 minutes. You better call a Boilermaker to make it last all day. Ha ha. But the ironworkers also, they get a lot of shade, and it is a rough and tumble, man. Ironworkers are like the first ones in, last ones out. And I really appreciate what they do, and they take it seriously in their training systems. And actually, all the unions right now, the Boilermakers, the pipe fitters, the millwrights, the welder, the ironworkers, the steel workers, you got your clacks, you got all these unions out there that have welding in them.
Yeah, and what's cool is, like you're talking about separate entities, but they have their own community too. Like if a project's huge and the ironworkers have a bunch of guys, a little bit of work, and the pipe fitters need some hands, they'll send people over. It's that shared knowledge, that shared skill, and they're all willing to work together. So, but it is fun to rib each other. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and even with us there filming, because Dayton was a pipe welder, I was a structural manufacturing welder. So even amongst us behind the scenes, we're like, rah, rah, rah,
I'm like, here's Kevin, like, I do everything. I just try my best. They're like, really? What?
Okay,
you're not specific to nothing. Yeah, this is why he's in front of the camera and we're here doing the knowledge part.
Now, we did the videos. This is our second round. You are, you're an official influencer. You know, what is that like? What does that do? What are the requirements of that?
Yeah, like I've spoken to you about a few times. Like I'm not comfortable with the term influencer. Like there's a lot
You
of
prefer king or
Hey, my
emperor?
last name means king. We got enough there. No, like and people say like, oh, welding influencers are ruining the industry. All they do is push products. So yes, I am a welding influencer. It's obvious I have a following, but I want to stay genuine. I want to share knowledge in the right way. I don't want it to be about pushing products. Although, you know, got a welder sent to me in the mail that I'm going to be trying out, and again, I'll
Check out the feed.
it's just I'm going to do it, and it's not to sell that product. It's
to test
I'm
it.
going to try it. Like somebody's going to send me a welder, I'm going to use it, and I'll probably abuse it, and I'll give you an honest review. That's all we can do, right?
If the buttons fall off first day in,
Yeah.
it's not gonna look so good.
Not so good. Yeah, maybe that discount code, hold off on that. Yeah, it's cool. But we mentioned weld.com there. And
I wanted to ask. Yeah.
I remember I did an online event where I spoke about my experience with social media, my experience with welding. And they were one of my resources because I would go onto YouTube, look at their videos. And just recently here, they reached out to me. And I've now signed on as a host for them as well. So I think they see the work that I'm doing, the work that CWB is doing, and it just makes sense. I'm doing these videos for the CWB. I have the experience, the knowledge, so now I'll be able to share myself and what I know with their crowd. So we're building on an even bigger community, which is great. Like the more welders we can get together to work on something, the better it's going to be.
Yeah. Now, have you been to any of the major conferences? I was, we've been talking about you getting out to a conference.
Yeah, I've been trying to finagle a ticket out of a bunch of people. No one wants to send me. No, I want to go. I do. Yeah. It'd be great to actually see all these people that I've been talking to, working with face to face. And I mean, FabTech's like the Disney world of welding and manufacturing. But again, work, family, side projects, find the time and prioritize the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's a lot of Canucks, man. I've had a lot of Canucks reach out to me being like, hey, I'm going to be down at FabTech. It's like, I've been at FabTech every year for 6 or 7 years now. And I feel like there wasn't that many Canadians, or I wasn't as connected to the other Canadians in the community. Because honestly, I'm just really picking up in social media. I'm not anybody important, but I'm starting to meet the people that are out there, and it's like, oh, you're a Canadian. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, you're going to be down there. Cool.
And social media has had a huge impact on that. Before, like schools or bigger companies would send people to FabTech. Let's see what kind of equipment they got. Now it's more of like all of these people, the employees, the guy at the bottom is going because, hey, all these welders are there. All these welders that I look up to, they're going to be there. I can meet them. I can talk with them.
Learn something.
Yeah. So I think it's really growing in that sense. It's not just, let's go look at machinery. It's like, let's go hang out with our friends and like talk about this stuff.
And there's a sense of celebrity too that I think is amazing. I think it's good, like the Rays and the and the Stephanies and the Jasons and all, all like the famous welders. And
like
it's good.
We spoke about being a weld influencer, right? And the purpose of that. The more we can get the word out that welding is cool. Like kids aren't getting into welding anymore. Well, welding is cool, and you can visually see that. And look what it can bring you. Like you say yes to a few opportunities. Now you're filming videos for the CWB. That's something like, we don't really care about fame. I just want to help people.
It's an opportunity.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, you're here in Milton. We do this work. We do these filmings. We get it out there. You got weld.com rolling. This is starting to get to be a lot. right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And all this stuff came at the same time.
yeah,
Like my life, that's how it's been working.
that's what I wanted to ask.
I have
that balance has got to be getting tough.
Well, I have nothing happen for a whole year. Then, hey, we're going to film videos. Weld.com's like, we would love to bring you on as a host. I've got an order for 2 lilies. Somebody wants me to make a bee. My garage looks like a horde. Somebody sent me a welder that I'm going to review. It just all comes at once. And being the person that I am, I say yes to every opportunity, and then I make it work.
Yeah.
And that is a struggle sometimes. And I'll beat myself up about it. It's like, why did you agree to this? Mm-hmm. But we're building to something. We're building a future. This will go somewhere. Figure it out.
Yeah. How's your support net, like in terms of your parents and your wife? And, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but
Love my wife very much.
Yeah. But like that's it, I struggle with it, and like my kids are moved out, but just the way careers are, I missed stuff, right? I missed things, and I don't beat myself up over it too much, but I do think about it.
Yep.
And I'm here in Toronto and Milton for I think 11 days. For the next 3 months, I'm on the road basically.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I'm kind of dragging you around now. So.
I have a really good support system. My wife is awesome, and she understands. And
Shout out Mo.
yeah. Shout out Mo. But it's about prioritizing the time. I get really into my projects, like the pool I'm building. Like I'm really into that. I love doing it. I get to weld, I create like on the fly. So she understands that that's important to me, and we both make sacrifices. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's the balance. And actually, my parents are amazing too. Her mom's amazing. So if we're both busy, because we both work, then we've got that, and they can take the children and actually spoke about like being genuine, being yourself, right? Ever since I've channeled all that together and started being honest with people, being honest with my family. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. While they're supportive about it. So it's been working. And it's funny to say that now, like all my family back in Quebec have seen my videos. It's like, Kevin's doing that? It's like, yeah. And that's exciting. That's super fun to me. And it's very cool. Yeah. And then I get these friend requests, like, hey, that's my auntie. Like, sweet.
How much odd question, because I'm not famous. I'm kind of just a schlep, but I get the odd like, hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. Like the requests on Instagram and stuff. You must get a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's not about the amount of followers. It's about the quality of followers. I never really stuck to that, but if I would put a number on it, like I was at 10,000 followers. Then I started doing all this extra stuff and getting exposure, and then now I'm just below 20,000 followers, and I still get messages on the daily, like, hey, I saw your video. What else can you talk about? Like, how did you do that? Or so it's still like almost on the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of haters?
Not much
Not
anymore.
really? No.
Not much anymore. And again, it's about being genuine.
Yeah, what are they going to hate? It's not like you're telling anyone that they got to change their life or anything.
And I'm still the same way. And if you've got hate, tell me why. You can't just come on my page and be like, you suck. That's not the way you do that. And then I'll reply to you and be like, well, please explain. Like, where's that coming from? And either the comment gets deleted or it goes into the DMs.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, I completely understand, agree to disagree, or we get to the bottom of it. It's cool. And
Move on,
exactly, move on or become friends. Like it's weird. Like we're gonna fight, and afterwards we'll go have a beer. Like,
Well, like I'll never get famous online because I'm too political. I always have like some political rant, and I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm about to break 1,000." I'll say something political. I'm down to 800. Like I've dropped
either
200.
that or you grow a lot because you find your demographic.
I haven't found them yet. It's like I'm gonna have to start the max party here.
Yeah, like catching heat aside, you're doing you. You're being
but
yourself.
that's me. I'm a political being. Man, you've hung out with me, and after the second beer, I'm talking politics. I just love it. I love it, and I love that stuff. And and when I run into somebody else that knows how to talk politics respectfully,
absolutely,
it's fun. It's fun. I think people should.
And politics aside, I feel like people don't know how to relate to each other anymore and have a conversation. Like right away, you said something that's upsetting to me. I'm in my feelings. I feel personally attacked. I can't reply to you properly. Feelings aside, like have conversations with people.
Yeah.
Right? We come from different backgrounds. We've got different outlooks, but we should still be able to talk to each other.
Yeah. I remember someone once told me, if you get mad, don't think about why you're mad at them. Stop and think about why you got mad.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it.
Stop and think about why did this make you mad? Because if something's true, it makes you. It's probably what made you mad. Because if it wasn't true,
well, what's
you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like if someone calls me fat and I get mad, it's because I'm looking at the mirror being like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah.
No, actually, I would never get mad about that.
Yeah. Like yesterday, some of the guys camera adds 20 pounds. Like, no, 10 of those is the camera. The other 10 were me. Right? Like, why get upset? It's funny.
Yeah. Now, and your future plans. We always talk about future plans, and it gets tougher as you get older. I mean, for me to look at the future, if I say 10 years from now, I'm late 50s. Like, I mean, then I don't even want to be working in 10 years, to be honest. Like, I wish I could just live on a beach and sleep on a cot. I don't know.
Move down to Chile.
Yeah. Like, I mean, who knows? But when you're late 30s now, right?
Yeah, I'm 37.
Yeah, so you're 37. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like, I mean, you're kind of going down some kind of new territories now. It gets tougher to plan that far out.
It is, and I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it. I haven't. I completely honest. You're right. There are a lot of avenues that have opened up for me. I'm not just, here I am stuck.
Yeah, Kevin Welder, this is it.
Yeah. And whether I like it or not, this is me, right? But now there's so many doors that have opened up, and I want to see where they all go. You can't do them all, and I'm learning that. But it's cool, yeah. And I really don't know. It'll come, and it'll just be one of those maybe split-second decisions. And my grandpa taught me, if you're gonna do something, jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
Don't keep one in, one out, because one of them is going to pull you away in some way, and then you're probably going to screw up both.
Yeah, you're going to get wishboned.
Yeah. Good visual. Yeah. So haven't thought about it. Could be a business owner. I could be an educator.
I think I'd like to see you totally selfish. I'd like you to get into
you
education.
always have. The day we met face to face,
yeah.
I'm gonna get you in front of some kids. You need to talk to some kids. You ever think about teaching? Hey, I'm Kevin. Right away. Yeah. No, and that's cool. I had some really good instructors, and I can see what a positive, knowledgeable instructor can do for kids. Not even just kids, anyone wanting to switch jobs.
Even the school itself.
Absolutely.
It props the school up to have good instructors.
Yeah, it's something cool, and that's an avenue. It's so trying to be myself and exploring some stuff and see where it goes. I really can't speak on it. I'm thinking about tomorrow. I got to get on a plane. That's about as far as.
Then you're back to work.
Yeah, right back into the swing of things, and until the next thing comes up, I am doing a podcast with Weld.com as soon as I land.
So tell me about that. What's that all about?
Well, just became a host. So
a host of what?
Basically, I'll be doing videos for them as well and creating content for social media pages and bringing myself and what I do into that. So Weld.com doesn't know me. They're followers, if you call them followers. They don't know me. So it'll be kind of like
an introduction.
Yeah, exactly. A little introduction, and I think it's going to be great.
And are you interviewing somebody? Or are you?
I will be interviewed by them.
Okay.
So I think they qualify a host as somebody who's in the videos. Okay. I am the host of a video. And they also have educators on their board. So it just all depends what you want to do and take it at your own pace.
When are you guys going to invite me to your podcast?
Let me get my feet in the door. And they're like, yeah, you got to get in with this Max guy. He's a little weird, but he loves welding.
I do. My 1 inch of weld yesterday, I swear to God, everybody, it was better than everybody else's.
Yeah, it just wasn't in the joint.
Just a flat plate. There we go,
Yeah.
beauty.
yeah. We got a peeler.
And actually, it was fun because everyone got hoods on yesterday. Daniela
Yeah.
was welding, Dave
Yeah.
was welding, you were welding.
Yeah.
We should have gotten the camera, Steve and Matt welding.
Yeah, if
Those-
we weren't so busy, like, man, it was crunch time, was a 12, 13-hour day, followed by another one. So that would have been cool. Like, let's switch the camera on them and see what they can do.
Well, and we got a little campy with these videos too. Like we got a little bit silly,
gotta
which was fun.
Yeah, put a little personality into it because you don't want somebody sitting there like, like this is what you do.
Oh,
then you
man.
do this.
Well, I didn't sleep at all. Like not last night, the night before. I was stressing
Yeah.
because I literally changed an entire video
Yeah.
in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. I was like, no, scrap that idea. I want a whole new thing. It's like, oh boy, why do I do that to myself?
No, but I think the end product speaks for itself, right? It's
No,
you can't just be
like you said, it didn't feel right.
No, and you can't
Yeah.
just be there, straight monotone. This is the knowledge, like you have.
knowledge A,
And
knowledge B.
I'm not saying maybe this is society, but people have to be entertained. You got to grab people and keep them hooked. Like, so yeah, we got a little, we put some humor in there, and I like that. Like, we can't go full bore like slapstick, but yeah.
I wonder if anyone videotaped my dancing. Let's hope not. It
Yeah.
would hurt your eyes. You will be blinded.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the interview. This has been fantastic. Again, you were number one. You were.
Well, thank you.
You took my podcast virginity. I didn't get pregnant, thank God. But and I have had many other partners since then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Get checked out.
yeah, I do, right? So you were my first, and I feel like I owe you a lot of the thanks to my success of the podcast, because you were a great first guest, because I also didn't know what the doing.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, I had to build my confidence to be like, is this something that's going to even work? I didn't work for CWB at the time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't in the job I am now. It was literally just an idea that Matt came up with, and when he reached out to me as an educator, being like, hey, you want to do something weird? And I was like, oh, yeah, I like weird. And
Yeah,
so,
well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And actually, the podcast has helped me out as well. It's a mutual thing. It's really great that it's out there. And I don't, it was an opportunity, but I didn't just do it. Afterwards, I brought people to it, right? Like, come check this out. This is something new. This is different. So, yeah, I don't just let things die. I promote my videos as well. Like, you gotta get it out there. Get yourself out there.
and now, do you want to come back for episode 200?
Oh wow! Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we'll see what happened. And
Well, you got Arc Junkies. I think they're like 276 or something like that, or some crazy
that's
number.
wild. That's
wild.
wild.
Well, Jason crushes it. Well, he's gone full time.
yeah,
Like, I mean, that's
and
mind blowing.
And he was with Weld.com for a while as well, so it's crazy. Yeah, it just
And it's like, I'm proud of him, but he doesn't. I mean, that doesn't matter. But I mean,
Yeah.
I am proud of the dude. Like, he built himself a studio in his back of his house, and it's beautiful, and
Yep.
and it's like a full-time gig. And man, that's a big step. He was
Yep.
he's a college professor that decided to hang up the chalkboard to do his podcast full time. Wow.
and guess what? Like, he's living his self, right? He chose what he wanted to do, and he went for it.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I think he's better at it than me, really, because
He's got a few more under his belt, right?
Yeah, right. So, I listen to his and I learn too. And, we've shared a lot of guests back and forth. And that's, I think that even the relationship that me and Jason or other podcasts have, we aren't competing against each other. Like,
There you go.
we support each other. His guests will be like, so I just literally got a text on Instagram 2 days ago being like, hey, I was just on Jason's podcast. He said I should reach out to you.
Yeah.
Because, A, for podcasts, and B, also, I wanted to know some stuff about Canadian stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
really
you're the
cool.
guy to talk to. And I was
Yeah.
like, awesome. Here's my email. Let's follow up. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, because after my episode, I got messages too, like, what was this? And like, can I be a part of that? Yeah, like, here,
Yeah.
go message this. Like, just another guy the other day in Saskatoon. He's just like, what is this podcast? And I know he does body work. I know he does the really light gauge welding. This would be great for people out here to hear you. So yeah, message Daniela, and here we go. And he's going to be on the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't even know that yet.
No, you don't run the back end anymore. I know. Yeah. So it's really cool. I think like the theme of this podcast is just community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just keeps coming up.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the gig,
Yeah.
right? CWB Association. It's the name makes it sound, I think, even stuffier than it really is. You know, like, oh, Canadian Welding Bureau Association. It sounds like it's only for people that are in the Canadian Welding Bureau, or
No, anyone.
like literally, if
I
you
keep telling everybody, you don't have to be a welder.
No, you don't.
You don't have to be Canadian.
Yeah.
You can be part of our community. Like, it's crazy. And still, guys that I work with are not CWB members. So it's like,
and it's free.
Yeah.
Like, come
yeah, I wish I could take your email right now, but that's illegal. Like,
Yeah, well, and that's interesting because I have had that conversation where it's like sometimes people might be thrown off by free, right? People think of free, they think of cheap
Yeah.
or not worth it, and it's like no. We're a different kind of. We're okay, so we're not free. We're free to you.
yeah,
This is paid for by industry.
yeah,
Like, and that's clear, and people need to understand that. Like, this isn't free because it's just like you want some fries at McDonald's. Like,
Yeah.
this is expensive. You know, like the things we do are expensive. This is expensive. The videos we do, but it's free to you as a member. It's free to you as a person joining, and it's paid for by the companies out there in Canada, the U.S. They pay for this stuff because they want to, well, protect their own industry.
yeah.
Right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
want to protect themselves, and it's
Yeah.
a smart play, right?
Literally full circle, right?
Yeah.
You get what you put in, and eventually it'll come back.
Yeah.
It's just we're serving the industry by uplifting people, by training people. It just comes around, right?
How's your work with the chapter going? How do you like that gig?
I like it. Like we're just a group of 5 people that we're trying to build back, but it's cool. Like, just getting to know those guys too. It's awesome. It's nice to have some guys to just like, rib off of and come up with projects.
Yeah, and all different backgrounds there too.
Yep. Yeah. So it is cool. The work that we're doing is cool, and I can't wait to like build on that and get more executives and get the locals involved again.
Yeah, and get some students in there, some young students, and we had great turnout at the last event.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
All right, so to end the interview, I always do the if you could go back in time and you're a teenager, but this is now episode 2, right? So we already talked about that. So let's do the go back in time just 2 years. Let's go to the day we recorded the first podcast, and what you've learned from that day to today, in these 2 years that have gone by with, your integration into the chapter, the videos, your social media, your foreman position, all these things that have grown and changed in these last 2 years. What advice would you give yourself now? What maybe couple things did you pick up in the last couple years that have made you grow, that you could maybe be like, hey,
I think that the big one that just keeps popping in my head as you're talking is I wish I hadn't been so hard on myself and put so much pressure on myself. It's the hugest one. I think I should have made the decision to just do what I wanted to do and start streamlining my life instead of being like, man, you're sucking at this, right? And at the same time, I think it ties in, think things through a little more. Don't just react. Give yourself a day, 2 days, 3 days,
Some space,
and really think things through. I rushed some things I wasn't proud of, and so giving myself a little bit more time and a little bit more patience. Yeah, but I think that was a learning experience too, right? So
patience is a tough one. Like you don't. Yeah, it's like you can't make a candle burn faster, right? Like they just have a pace.
Yeah.
And that's that, and you got to just appreciate it. I struggle with this, dude, like to this day.
I think a lot of people
Right?
do.
Like
Yep.
I want to do more and I want to get more done. And I thankfully also have a good support net, and my mom and my dad and my wife, my kids, they'll be like, chill, like Max, like
Yeah.
chill the F out,
Yeah.
especially right now when I'm on a rip, right? So like I'm on a big tour right now. So I got Milton, then I got Atlanta, then I got Ottawa, I got Saskatoon, I got Winnipeg. This is all in the next 2 months.
Yep.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm going to be flying like crazy. I'm going to rack up probably 20,000 air miles. And people are like constantly like, you got to relax. And it's like, well, what I've learned is that I have go time.
Yep.
Right? And before go time was any time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that I'm not going to stop go time because I'm a go guy. Right?
Yep.
But I have learned now to take my not go time seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, I have go time. Sure, the next 2 months, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
But then I need to like back off. And for a week, I'll just go off grid.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to disappear. And I'm literally going to be in my pajamas 24/7, eating Ichiban and playing video games.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm really coming off of almost like 2 months straight of 12, 14-hour days, Saturdays. And like same thing, when I have something in my head, I'm going to go do it. And this was work. Like this weekend was work, but it was nice to get away from that side of things and focus on something else.
a different project.
Yeah, and now I'll go back and get back into it. And
well, you got the rest of the day. I mean, I'm watching football today, man. I told this guy.
yeah,
in the
I'll end up laying beside you in that hotel.
yeah,
bed. Like,
watch football with
I
me.
never watch football, but yeah, we'll hang out.
Because it's like, are we going to go out today? We're going to do something. It's like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
I have such a busy week next week. 75th anniversary CWB. Actually, I should mention that. You know, the association's 101 years old. We're the OG. But the CWB Group, you know, the codes and standards side of it is 75 years old this year. And we got big celebrations going. We got stuff going out on social media and in the magazine and stuff like that. And lots of big changes. We got new websites coming up. We got new projects. The association's got lots of projects coming out. Some of them are long term. Like, I mean, I got a vision. We have some projects that may not come to fruition for 5 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're already working on them. We're already on it now. And I'm hoping to grow it, like not even just chapter members and association members out there, which, you know, we love you, we need you, but I'm also trying to grow it on the back end, you know, like get good staff, maybe hire 1 or 2 more people, grow it on, let us be able to take on more projects and do more stuff and support better, you know.
That's a big one. Support better, you know, streamline stuff. 'Cause I've heard stuff too, like, oh, the website's a little hard to navigate. It's like, they're working on it.
Yeah.
But like, we need you.
yeah. Like if we don't have you, I don't have the push to change
exactly.
that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
and email, like to the people out there, complain.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. Like
Yeah,
if you don't
reach out.
like
Yeah.
if you don't like something, we got an info at CWBassociation.org. It's anonymous. You don't have to say who you are.
Yep.
But hey, your website sucks. Good. You know, like let me know what you don't like about. I'll email you back. I will. I'll be like, okay, well, tell me what you don't like, what you do like, because that helps us figure it out. I'm not going to be offended. I mean, obviously, don't just send in mean things.
Yeah.
A picture of like me with an X over my face or something like not so useful, but give me some constructive criticism about the website or about your experiences. Like, I mean, if you go for a weld test, someone does their horizontal, the thing we just did the video on yesterday, and you're somewhere and the CSR, you know, you felt like it wasn't a good vibe, let us know. Like, I mean, why not? We can all improve. We all are all, like, I mean,
there's no sense in sitting there hating your situation.
Yeah.
There's stuff you can do about it.
right. And we're a not-for-profit, so we act on it. We take it seriously. Like, I go through reports every month of everything that people, every email that comes in, every hate mail goes into a database.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we go over it and be like, well, you know, we had 10 about this. Maybe we should
Yeah, that's
do something about it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're talking about restructuring our shop,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the paint booth is moving out. I think it's a great idea. We'll give everybody a footprint of the shop, draw out where you want everything, and then whatever works on everybody, that might be a good idea. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
man, you know what I did one time? Start restructuring. And now we're going over time, but this
Oh
is
my
a
God.
little crazy story. when I was a foreman at Brandt, we put pedometers on every employee, and we just
Not for the reason that
not for
people-
health,
Yeah, exactly.
not for health,
Yeah.
but just to track how much people move. Just curious.
Yep.
And we put pedometers on everyone and just said, just work your day. Like, and we're not actually like, this isn't a good or bad thing. We're not saying like you need to walk more. Actually,
The
what
opposite.
we're aiming is to make you walk less. Why is, John F. walking 30,000 steps a day? Like why? And then then after the week, you're like, okay, you have walked 10 times more than everybody else. Why? Well, I got to use these, set of tools, but they're kept in the machine shop, but I need them 3 times a day.
Yep.
But the machine shop, they're expensive tools. So then I have to put them back when I'm done.
Yep.
So I'm making that walk 3 times a day,
Yeah.
every day. It's like, you know what? I'm buying you your own set of micrometers.
Yeah, if you think of the man hours
That's
is
right.
being wasted.
That's right. And that was part, it's called value streaming. It was a really interesting thing I learned through a guy named Stuart Bellamy that I'm trying to get on the show. He's like the genius of organizations. What's that? Who's that crazy lady with the...
there's a home edit or whatever that my wife would know.
yeah, like the cleaning up your drawers or whatever. Yeah. He's like that of companies. That's what he does.
sweet.
He owns his own company and he goes and he helps organize. And I took like many classes from this guy. He's amazing mind of organization. And that was one of the things he recommended is like, well, track some steps.
Yeah.
Let's see who needs what and be like, actually like sell your stuff being like, hey, you're going to get stuff out of this.
Yep.
Like, if we find you need something, you're going to get it. That's the deal.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting this data.
Yeah.
We actually took an aerial shot with a drone of the shop and then gave one to everybody. And we had their steps mapped being like,
oh, wild.
this is what you do in a day, just so you know, because you don't think about what you've done
no.
throughout the day.
Like you mention it right now, and it's relating to me at my shop.
Yeah.
Like where things are and how much time it takes. Like I got to go get that material out in the yard. Well, there's this, and this in the way. Like, why did this job that I think would take an hour take 2?
Yeah.
Well, I had to do this. Like, we got to stop that.
Right. And we're booking Stuart. It's going to be a great episode because, and I think he's in his 70s now, but he's the one that certified me for lean, and lean gets a bad rap, but I love lean. Honestly, once I figured it out and got it, I got it. So, I don't know why we're talking about this now, but
we always get off sidetrack. We're over time anyway. It's getting edited out.
All right. So awesome. Well, let's just end then. Kevin,
Yep.
Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. We're this is 2 years in, almost 200 episodes, almost 100 episodes.
Yep.
And and we've grown even in our relationship over this
Very
time.
true. Very
and
true.
I don't know how you put up with me. I'm not an easy guy to like.
Maybe it's because I'm so easysgoing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I appreciate you coming out. Any shout outs for anybody? Anything you want to say?
No, just
How'd Steve say, where's your monologue?
yeah, I don't have a monologue. I didn't prepare for this. I just think everyone should get out there, get involved in their local community. Get involved with the CWB. It's done so many things for me personally. I've seen people grow from it. So I think just get out there, be yourself, and get involved. That's
Awesome.
It. Yeah.
Well, and for all the people that have been following us through this journey and that send in the comments and that share our videos and our podcasts and download them and all the things that we do, I appreciate it. And I also appreciate the feedback, all the DMs and all the emails from people. And I try to get back to every single one. I don't think I have ever left anyone on read. So, sometimes it's not immediately a busy dude, but I take time because I think it matters. And it's part of
I'm the same way.
Part of the gig.
If somebody took time to write me or make a comment, I will take the time to reply. It's just common courtesy.
Yeah, unless you're trying to sell me gold bars from South Africa. I'm not going to reply.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to all the glove manufacturers that I have not replied to.
What'd you say? A welder for you. A welder for you.
Yeah. Meme coming soon.
Yeah. All right,
Cool,
and thanks everybody. Here we go. Cool, and take care and stay tuned for the next episodes.
Thanks a lot.
We hope you enjoyed the show.